Okay, so since the last video about Telcoin, we got this move on the downside in here, and in today's video I'm specifically going to talk about this move and tell you why overall not a whole lot has changed in Telcoin, and even in case that we get another move down, at that point I am still going to remain absolutely bullish. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a great time with your family and loved ones, and if you remember, in the previous video about Telcoin, I think we were somewhere around these areas, and I was saying, okay, if you want to be optimistic, you can argue that this point is going to be the end of our correction down right in here, and maybe we are having like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, probably into a larger degree wave 3, excuse me, okay, and then we want to see a correction for 4, another move up into wave 5, and from here going down in Telcoin. If you want to be again in the short term absolutely bullish, it's just not going to be an option for us. On the other hand, we also talked about a potential bearish scenario suggesting that maybe from this high we are having either like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, or maybe an ABC structure, which basically suggested that this may not be the end of our correction. And I was saying, okay, you can argue that maybe we are having from this high 5 wave down into a larger degree wave A, and then correction for wave B, and we may see another move down into our C leg. And in case something like this happens, we shouldn't really be worried about it at all. So what happened? Definitely not the bullish scenario in the short term, and we got a move on the downside. Now, couple of important points. Number one, I need you to pay attention to this specific move down starting from this high to about this low. Why is this so important? Because in it, I'm thinking finding an impulsive structure is actually very, very hard. And odds are that this is going to be from here, like 5 wave down into an A leg, maybe in form of an expanding leading diagonal, correction for wave B, and this can be another 5 wave down into our C leg. So why is this so important? Because that makes me say maybe starting from this point, we are having an A, B, C, D, E in form of a triangular structure, and we are indeed having overall starting from the highest high in here to about the lowest low, maybe even a bit lower, doesn't really matter, an A, B, C zigzag. Now, for the short term, we can consider two different possibilities. Number one, we can argue that this is going to be like an A, B, C to about the lowest low right in here, and the bottom is in. And in fact, we can actually argue this scenario is in play with a decent bit of confidence. Why is that? Because what do we have off of the lowest low to about this height? I'm thinking this might be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, and followed by that, this might be an ABC structure. Now, this scenario is going to get invalidated in case that we see another move down in TEL in order to take this low about, let's say, like 0.0075. So as long as we're not taking this low, okay, fair enough, we can argue the bottom is in. But this is not the point of today's video, because in this video, I want to tell you why even if we get another move down, we shouldn't really be worried at all. So let's just pull that thread. Let's see, we're going to have another move down, and maybe, who knows, even in this move, we're going to take these lows, which the lowest low is about 0.006. What happens in this case? Well, you see, in that scenario, you need to actually pay attention to this move on the upside, because at that point, I'm going to be able to tell you with a lot of confidence, this isn't going to be an impulse, and instead it might be an A, B, C zigzag structure. And I think we talked about this subject in the previous video, which basically I was saying, look, we may have in this whole area in Telcoin an ABC in form of a running flat structure. And let's just zoom in more. Okay, you see, in an ABC flat, most likely I would say in form of a running flat structure, we are going to have something like this. This is our initial move down into a correction for wave B, which in it we are going to take this high, and then another move down into our C leg. And this is the key. In this move down, we are not going to take the low of our wave A. What if we take it? At that point, this is going to be an ABC in form of an expanded flat and not a running flat structure. And the sub waves for a running flat are going to be like this. ABC down into A, correction on the upside into wave B, maybe ABC, maybe like a WXY structure. Again, doesn't really matter, at least from my point of view. And for our C leg, we must be able to find like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down. Sorry about that one. Something like this. Understood? Excellent. Now let's go on the live chart and see what's happening. So again, if we get a move down in Telcoin from here and we take this low, at that point, I think we can argue that this is going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down. And overall, starting from this high, we are going to have like an ABC structure down into an A leg, followed by that ABC up into wave B, and a 5 wave impulsive structure down into our C leg. And what's going to happen after this running flat is over? Well, okay, after a correction, what are we going to have? Probably a very strong impulsive structure on the upside in order to reach to about the next important resistance area, all the way up here between 1.8 to about the 2 cents area. So in the midterm, I still fully stand by what I say. I just do not believe that our bull run in Telcoin is over. I would like to argue even in case that we get another move down, we are going to still remain 1000% bullish. And recently we just got a very strong move on the upside off of this important broken resistance area. And you want to tell me right in here our bull run is over? I find that very hard to believe. Also, when you compare Telcoin to, for example, BTC, you realize that we have been in the last couple of days performing extremely well. For example, this low happened on February 25th, about 3 days ago. Now let's go on BTC's chart and see where we were 3 days ago. Let's go on crypto.com chart. Yeah, sure. Let's zoom out more. Okay, so in about 3 days ago, as you can see, we were actually right in here around the 90k area. Where are we now? About 80k, and the lowest low in here is about 78.5k. So as you can see, relative to Bitcoin, we have been performing very well, and this suggests in Telcoin bulls most likely do still have the upper hand. And it's not specific for Telcoin. No, in a lot of alts we are actually having kind of the same situation, and I think those that are going to hold themselves really well are probably going to be the ones that are going to start the next phase of their bull runs sooner than a lot of others. So Telcoin, in my opinion, is definitely in that group, and overall I think we shouldn't really be worried at all. So let's have our final conclusion and wrap up today's video. As long as in TL we're not taking the lowest low down here about 0.006, we can argue that this is actually a bullish setup, and maybe this is like 1, 2, 3 correction for 4, and we're gonna have another big move up into wave 5 in order to reach to about the 2 cents area. Or maybe you can argue, I guess, that this is like 1, 2, and then another 1 and 2, but on a lower degree, and then once more, I'm gonna say it, we're gonna get big move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. What if we get a move down and take this low? At that point, we are going to say a correction in TL started from this point, and the end of it is going to be in here, maybe potentially even a bit lower, and it's going to be in form of an ABC flat structure, which suggests after this is over, we are going to once more start another move up. So overall, one way or the other, I still fully believe on another move on the upside in Telcoin, and the invalidation point for my bullish scenarios hasn't been really activated yet. So for me, makes perfect sense to still remain 1000% optimistic. Now, if you have other opinions, definitely feel free to share them in the comment section. I will respect all of them. I may not necessarily agree with you, but I will absolutely respect your opinion on what is happening in Telcoin, Bitcoin, and also a lot of other altcoins. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in TEL's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.